Trump will bring justice, law, and order. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 17th of November. As we approach Thanksgiving and the end of the year is flying by, but it is my belief that President Trump will bring justice. He'll bring law and order to this country, not revenge, but I think those who need to go to jail should go to jail. And I think there are many that are part of this government that do belong in jail. Again, we don't have to mention any names, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. At the end of the day, there's been a lot of things done, and if you believe in the cabal and the deep state, which I do, then I think there's a lot of people that should be going to jail and be concerned. And I had always thought, if you remember and go back a couple of years, I always thought that was President Trump's plan. Before he didn't get the second election, I thought he was going to do it in the second election. Well, this election, he's in. He's got no choice but to do what he should do. And hopefully he will do the right thing, and that is to clean up this country, get rid of the illegals, and to get rid of the shit that's in the swamp. Because again, at the end of the day, that is, I think, our biggest problem is the amount of government stealing from American citizens and American taxpayers. So hopefully we will see what I have expected all along, and if not, you will hear from me on that side as well. In the meantime, there's a big discussion all this week of Social Security and the benefit of. Let's be clear. Social Security is not a benefit. Social Security is something that you paid for. You pay taxes. That is part of your tax that you pay going in. Okay. So again, it's not something that you did not earn. It is something that was put away for you. And I assure you, it's nothing more than a Ponzi scheme the way the government uses it. It is a way that they take your money, use it, and hope to pay you later. Of course, the model itself is broken because the retirement age, Social Security should not be eligible until 75 to 80 now because of the lifespan. The original program was built at 65 because the expected living age was 62. And I assure you that if you took that money, and even if the government controlled it, but if you took that money and put it in your own IRA, okay, you would have a hell of a lot more than you are getting from your Social Security benefits. But let's remember, Social Security is not an entitlement. It is your right. You paid for it. You put the money in to the system to allow the government to use it, and you are entitled to get it back. But of course, there is not enough money to support this Ponzi scheme because people are living too long. And of course, we've all seen the nasty words of the new Trump cabinet. Again, I don't know if the people are good or bad that he's bringing in. I like most of them. Okay. I don't know if they can do the job or not do the job. But what I do know is that the people that have been in those jobs in the past have not done a very good job. I am not satisfied with the way that our government has been run for many, many, many years. It has nothing to do with Harris or Trump. We can go back many years to see problems. I think government grabbed too much power, stole too much money, taxes too much, really put us in a bind as they continue to kick the can down the road. So what is wrong with trying something different that might work better? Okay, that is something that I don't have a problem with. Okay, I think that we have the ability, if we could live through the Biden-Harris administration, okay, then nothing that President Trump could do could be as bad as what they brought to us. So I think that, again, I don't know if they're qualified. Again, I'm not a government guy, okay? I don't believe because you're in government or you should be allowed to stay in government. I think we need to eliminate many of these people that are in offices right now because I think that they're more interested in stealing from the American people, okay? And of course, we followed the story of the FEMA employees that were passing over the Trump houses that had Trump signs during the hurricanes. I mean, are you kidding me? This is the government agencies that we are depending on. And again, you take any of those 3-letter or 4-letter agencies, and I can't find one that's worth a shit. as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And we now have, if you're in Massachusetts, parents cannot opt out of having their kids go through a sexual gender identity lessons. Now, are you fucking kidding me? Okay. Obviously, there will be many people pulled out of schools. They'll be have to be put in private schools, which will put a burden on the family. But have we not had enough of what this is all about? Okay. I have no problem with what you do in your own home. I have no problem with who you are. Okay. But when you force it on my kids, I do have a problem. Okay. I think there are calls for sanity in this country. I mean, again, you can go back many presidents and see a lot of the destruction. George Bush, both. Obama set civil rights back 100 years. Okay. Again, I don't think there's been many really good presidents. I do feel that Donald Trump was a good president the first time through, and I think he'll be even better the second time through because he won't be trying to get reelected. But I think we need sanity and prosperity. And right now, we don't have prosperity. We have a lot of middle class that are in a lot of trouble, that are in a recession. Yeah, if you're among the wealthy, you're having the time of your life because you're getting all the benefits. Okay. But even the wealthy have started to cut down, which should give you some sort of warning as we see that luxury goods and retail declined 15%. Okay. So again, even they are starting to get some concerns as to what's going on in this country. And I think there's a good reason for it. But at the end of the day, the last administration and Obama before and Bush before have destroyed a lot of the middle class. And I think that that's a problem. Okay. I think that we have to carry far too much of a burden because of that. And I think that is, again, from the illegal immigration that was by the Biden-Harris campaign or administration. I mean, you're paying taxes on that. And it's nice to see Mayor Adams. Of course, he might be trying to get a pardon, but Mayor Adams in New York says no more. And so I think everybody should say no more. I think that I'm certainly tired of paying my tax dollars to fund illegal immigration. Okay. And then you're going to have the war on the Mexican cartels from Donald Trump. And I'd love to see this. This is setting up to be potentially the greatest of all time. Okay. Because of the things that are going on and the things that need to be corrected. So let's see. I hope we can win that war because our children pay the price for the Mexican cartels. And hopefully we will finally get the true story of the COVID origination, because again, it was my opinion. And if you've been listening to me long enough, the day COVID hit and they announced it, I called chemical warfare on China. Okay. That's what I still believe. Okay. It was a man-made disease. We know that already. Okay. It didn't come from the wet markets. We know it was a man-made. So hopefully we'll get some real fact now. I don't know if we will or not, but I hope we will. We now see a lot of people going back to, as the people leave X, okay, we see a lot of advertising and people going back because it is free speech. Yes, Mark Cuban left, and who gives a fuck? Okay. He tried to buy the election, but he couldn't get his candidate in. So who cares? I think that, again, you've got to look at the vote count. Okay. We all talked about in 2020 how big the vote count was, and the two record numbers of even the loser had a record number of votes. So there was 1 and 2 in history of how many voters. Well, if the last election wasn't stolen, okay, and again, I don't want to get into the whole story, but I just have a simple question. Okay, we have this election, we had 30 million less votes than we had in the last election. Okay, why? Okay, if the voting was so hot, which is what we kept hearing, why was there 30 million less votes in this election than there were in the last election? I mean, Trump got slightly less than he got in the last election, but close. So, and obviously won the election, but it was a total of about 30 million less votes. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Germany's political fools are trying to ban the AfD, which is the far right party. Have they learned nothing from the Trump victory or Mealy's victory? Again, I think that you're seeing that people are starting to wake up. And not that right is the right side to be on, not that left is the right side to be on, but being who you are first and worried about how you take care of your country, I think it should be first. I mean, I'm an American first before I'm anything, okay? Big Pharma holds an emergency meeting over imminent Trump-Kennedy health reform. Well, Big Pharma has had far too much control for far too long. It's very much like big tobacco, big oil, Big Pharma, okay? Listen, let's face it, they are part of the cabal. They are part of the deep state. They are the ones that have run this country for so many years. And now maybe we finally get the facts and the truth. Maybe the stuff finally comes out, okay, of all the stealing and gouging that they have done. I mean, if you're somebody, I had to have a drug that wasn't covered under Medicare. It cost me $500 a month for a drug. Again, are you kidding me? It can't be, okay? So hopefully, look, like I said, I don't know about the Trump, the cabinet. I don't know how they're going to perform, but I'm certainly willing to try something new. And I think that is something that is important for all of us to think about, is if what you've seen is not working, why not try something new? And, I just think that, one of the big problems in our country today is the family unit, okay? I think we've gotten away because of so much technology. Nobody talks anymore. When I grew up, Sunday dinner with the family, maybe once or twice a week with the family, if we were all working. And I'm talking all the way until I was in my 60s. So I think that the breakdown of the family unit has been a very big problem in this country. And hopefully we will see more of that come back as well. But again, hopefully we will see law and order. Hopefully we will see President Trump go after the criminals, clean up, get rid of the illegal immigration, and help the American people save their tax dollar. Bubba's Bottom Line, we're going to step out here for a break. It is Sunday, November the 17th. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? Well, we've got some sponsors, and of course, we've added a new one, which is a gold and silver provider. And if you've watched me with Daniela Cambone, it is her company, who she works with, and it is ITM Trading. And you want to check them out, go to learn.itmtrading.com/Bubba for your gold and silver needs, scrolling on the sides. And of course, don't forget about Capital Trading Group, our partner in many of our futures products and helping us develop even more. Great customer service, great job that they do for our members. And of course, Trader Brokerage, which is, again, it's $10 a month, okay? As good as it gets. Their service is as good as it gets. And again, I tell you, $10 a month flat for equities and options. And certainly we're check them out on the sides. And of course, don't forget about our high school program, which we continue to try to spread financial literacy. But unfortunately, the unions and the schools make it very difficult because they don't want to teach. But that's a story for another day. Check them out. Check out our sponsors on the right and on the bottom. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my market report for this week. So let's get back to it right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz here. And, of course, every week we do our market report. And last week the markets got smushed a little bit. Again, not totally unexpected, and I don't know that it's totally any that much damage as well. When we look at markets, I think you have to remember that markets were extremely overbought, and they didn't really break down. If you look at a chart, all they really did, and this is where all the fretting and all they really did is revert back to the mean, okay? Markets were overbought. I said last Monday on the call, expect a couple of days of 400 or 500 points down in the markets, especially the NASDAQ, and that's what you got. Again, does that mean that it's all over? We're going to zero? No, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, it means the markets needed a pullback. Now, the question is, how will they react to that pullback? Will they bounce from here? And if they do bounce, how high will the bounce go? Okay, can they take out the new highs that were made before this big sell-off? Or are they going to make a lower high? Or are they going to just head lower from here? That's the big question. But the real key to watch for is if they make a lower high. That would indicate a top is in. Right now, there is a lot of reasons to believe the tops are in. As I said before the election, a Harris win would be just a straight down meltdown. A Trump victory would be a big rally followed by a meltdown because I think the economy is in real trouble. Okay, no matter who's in the office. And so we did get the rally. because of the Trump victory. So now let's see how we are from here. In the meantime, we are flat, the NASDAQ and the S&P, short the Russell and short the Dow. So those worked out pretty well. As we look across the rest of things, and again, some things we don't trade, but I will give you what direction we would be in if we did. The dollar, which again, the dollar is going to get stronger, I think, with all these bullshit going around the world. But at the end of the day, we don't trade it because it's too expensive to trade through in New York. The COMEX is or the 9X, whichever one it trades it is a joke. In the meantime, we would be short dollars right now, but I do think they're going higher, but I do think there's a pullback coming in. We are long the euro currency, which got hurt a little bit last week. We are long bonds and notes. Now, have you noticed that the 10-year notes on September 18th were 3.4%, okay, when they cut the first time? And now that they cut the second time, 10-year notes are now 4.5%. So you go tell me, okay? Of course, Powell already said that they're not going to cut so fast, which might have aided some of the sell-off. But remember, the selling doesn't help you. It's stupid, okay? The rate cut is from the Federal Reserve, the Fed funding rate, to the banks. They don't have to pass the savings on to you, okay? In the meantime, gold and silver both got smushed. We were short gold most of the week. We're now flat. Silver, we're still short. Copper, we've been flat all week, but it's pretty moderate, headed a little bit lower. The grain markets, we've been short corn all week, flat the other two. All of them were up a little bit, as it turns out, for the week. In the meats, I'm still short cattle, flat hogs, because I think we're overbought. We don't trade them anymore. Natural gas, kind of mixed. It's like a mixed bag. It's been a very mild winter, so there hasn't been a big demand. So natural gas is still holding under $3. We should be long. We've been flat most of the week. Remember, I give you what we have and what the direction should be, and that doesn't mean that tomorrow morning when I send out the final report, that's where we're going to be. Bitcoin had obviously a huge rally, making all-time new highs. It looks like it's going to make a run to 100,000 before having probably a pullback. It tried to pull back and then it took off once again. In good crude oil got smushed a little bit, but again, it's really just back to where it was a month ago. Okay, kind of churning between 66 and 60 and 72. We're flat. Okay, probably getting close to getting long here at some point. And in the softs, again, we would be short cocoa, long cotton, short sugar, short coffee, and long OJ if we were in, but we're not in those markets. Again, those are just the directions that we were trading. But I think the action in the business is very quiet. I think that you got to be more patient here. Our day trading, our models have done well the last few weeks, but the day trading part, we haven't lost any money, but we haven't had enough opportunities to trade. And that's something that, again, I urge you to have patience when you're looking for opportunities. If you're a day trader, it's been a very challenging time to day trade because there's been very little movement. In the meantime, let's step out for our final break and come back with my commentary, Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, November the 17th. What's up, kids? Again, not to go through the whole speech, but new gold and silver provider, sponsor the show, learn.itmtrading.com/Bubba, Capital Trading Group for futures and commodities, and of course, TRADIER brokerage for equities and options. Check them out. They're on the bottom and on the sides. And of course, our high school program. Let's get back to my show, Bubba's Bottom Line, and of course, my commentary right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 17th of November. And of course, lots going on. Thanksgiving coming up, the year winding down. And, I think that as we look into the Trump administration, you have to be hopeful that there's going to be a law and order in this country. You have to be hopeful that he's going to keep his word and get rid of the illegals. Again, I'm not saying that they're bad people, but the criminals that they allowed to come into this country, I think that we have not seen it done the right way. Now, obviously, many of us are from either immigrants ourselves or immigrants over history, over our family history, and we came in legally. I think you got to stop the allowing of the illegals in. I'm very happy to see Tom Homan in as the director and his assistant. I think that we have to stop it. I think that has taken a lot of money out of the pockets of middle-class Americans because of the dollars and taxes we had to pay for, not to mention the crime and things that they've brought to your country and the devastation they brought to many of the big cities in this country. So I go back to what I said earlier. Did Trump pick a good cabinet? I don't know. I mean, there's pluses and minuses, but it can't be any worse. And I have no problem with who he's picked because obviously anybody's replaceable if they don't do the job. But aren't you happy that there's a bunch of people that really want the job to serve at the pleasure of the president and try to do something? Because most of them are non-political. They're non-politicians. They're there to do a job. And I would hope that you would want America to return to the glory days without the criminals running the country and without all the other issues that we've been watching, and not just over the last 4 years, but over the last many years, I think, with the exception of the last Trump administration. So let's see what happens. Let's hope that everything turns out to make America better. I would think nobody would agree. You may not like MAGA, you might not like Trump, but I'm sure everybody would like to see America better again. And in the meantime, it is a football day, and we do have some selection for you if you like, and that would be Green Bay against the Bears, the lowly Stinko Bears. Detroit, I would not normally lay a number this big, but Jacksonville is so bad. And of course, Kansas City. In the meantime, have a great week, everybody. As always, I thank you. We'll see you back here next time. Well, actually, we'll see you tomorrow, Bubba's Daily Update. But we'll see you next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you later.